Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Danvers Zoning Board of Appeals. If I can ask you to silence your phone or put it to vibrate so we're not interrupted. I will start off by introducing our board members. Down to our right is Jeff Sauer. Our clerk tonight is Corrine Doherty, myself, John Bowner as the chairman. To my left is the Kens. We have Ken Javanen and Ken Scholes. And from our planning division, our planning director, Mr. Brian Zakelli. Board members, we were all in receipt of minutes dated May 13th from a Zoom meeting or online Teams meeting. If there's no further discussion on those minutes, I'll entertain a motion to accept them.
So moved.
I have a motion
I will second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you. We have a light agenda tonight, and I don't think I'm going to take the time to go through our process. I think everybody's pretty aware of it. We will have the clerk read and obviously go to the podium, speak clearly as we are recorded on DCAT, and I believe that's how we derive our minutes as well, so that's vital for our records. If you can just present your case, the board will ask questions, and we will go out to the public for comment, and then the board will deliberate, and we'll see where your case takes us and let you know your options. So, with that said, I think I've covered everything. Karina, if you could read our first case.
Our first case is 181 Newbury Street, request a variance under Section 37D of the Danvers Zoning Bylaw in order to replace and add wall and pylon signage that was previously approved through a variance for a different car dealership. Request made by Danvers ICL to LLC on behalf of, by Nancy McCann. Docket number 24-5071.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you very much. My name is Nancy McCann. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Danvers ICL 2 LLC. Also with me tonight is Brian Laskin, General Manager, and I believe we also have remotely a representative from Harvey Sign Company as well. And we are here relative to the property at 181 Newbury Street, which has been an auto dealership since the 50s, and it is now currently undergoing some much-needed renovations and modernization. Back in October, the planning board granted site plan approval for an addition to the building as well as a general modernization of the facility itself for a new Kia dealership. Improvements to the site for this renovation, there are a number of them. That we have new drive-through drop-off service, new modern service bays, improved modern showroom, significantly increased landscaping, decrease in impervious surface, stormwater management improvements, all good things for this site. Back in 2013, this board granted a variance for a freestanding sign 3 feet from the lot line, the front lot line. That sign was 52 square feet, and it also included a daily changing reader board. With the coming of the new Kia dealership and all of the renovations, we're proposing a new, more modernized signage package, which actually decreases significantly the size of the freestanding sign. It also makes that sign compliant with the front setback requirement, so that front setback variance is no longer needed. And we're changing that sign from 52 square feet down to 5 square feet, which is a 90% reduction in that freestanding sign. And then, as most auto dealerships that you see now, virtually all of them, quite honestly, we have complementary wall-mounted signage on the site, and we are proposing some wall-mounting signage, very small in compared to the facades of the building. We're proposing a Kia logo of 38.28 square feet, a North Danvers sign to identify the specific dealership at 35.15 square feet, Service Express to identify the entrance to those new drive-in service bays at 18.18 square feet, and on the east elevation, a Kia only lettering at 38 .28 square feet, and again, on the west elevation, a Kia name at 38.28 square feet. That totals 168.17 square feet of wall signage. The zoning bylaw, as you know, for wall signage does permit 10% of the facade on which the sign is located. So theoretically, we could on this site put just wall-mounted signage in the form of one 309 square foot huge wall-mounted sign by right. And that's not what we're proposing. We don't think that would be attractive. We don't think it would be in keeping with the modernization of the dealership. So we are proposing this wall-mounted signage, as I've indicated, as well as the 5 square foot freestanding sign to identify the entrance. Their proposal, again, we think is much more tasteful. It adequately identifies the dealership for motorists. The individual letters that we're proposing are clear, they're readable, they're able to be seen and digested by those traveling. As you know, this location is sandwiched between Route 1, which is has turned into a high-speed motorway, as well as 95, which is equally high-speed. So having clear, distinct lettering on the signage is important for identification. We think it also enhances the improvement and complements the dealership. Again, this is similar to other automotive dealerships that you have seen before. One thing that's interesting on this site that does impact the signage that you don't see at most dealerships is there is a lovely row of large mature trees along Route 1. Those trees are located in the Route 1 layout, and they quite nicely block the visibility of much of this building as you're traveling up and down the highway. So the location of the signage as placed is very important. The site also, the topography and the wetlands, as well as the shape of the lot, dictates that this building is turned so that the front entrance is actually facing north. It's on the north facade. It is your entrance, your main entrance into the building is not parallel to Route 1 as you might normally expect it to be. So again, the signage needs to be clear and readable for those traveling north and south along the highways. That is really it. We think it's a modest signage proposal. We think it adequately identifies the site. Once you get into the site, it also importantly identifies the site as you're approaching it and as you want to turn into the driveway. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Just before I turn it over to the board, so I just want to reiterate. So the changes that went on to this site were all done via the planning board and within the highway corridor zoning bylaws?
Yes.
So there was an expansion to the site, but not anything that required relief?
It was all compliant, correct.
Okay. Thank you. Jeff, we'll start down there with you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to ask Brian a simple question.
Sure, go ahead.
So, the existing pylon sign is there with a variance, I believe, because it's too close to the lot line. Do we consider that now an abandoned variance that will never come back?
Yeah, once you go more conforming, you can't go back. That is
Okay.
correct.
All right, that's the only question I have. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Kareem?
So, to kind of continue on with Jeff's line of questioning, you're actually moving the sign back, so it's 10 feet back. Are you using the existing sign, or is it gonna be a completely new sign?
It'll be a new sign.
Okay. Okay. All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Kareem. Ken?
I have no questions. Thanks.
And Ken Scholes.
Thank you, and I'm gonna go back to that as well. So the new pylon back and EO1 is being removed, so only the one pylon out front.
Correct.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks. Why North Danvers? I have been here 35 years. I have never heard.
It's
North Dan, well, if you're gonna talk, come up to the mic and identify yourself, but let me finish, I guess I'll stick with the question. I've never heard of any part of Danvers ever referred to as North Danvers. Is there a South Danvers Kia? And if you could identify yourself and answer away.
Sure, Brian Laskin, General Manager at, it's Kia North,
Okay,
but Kia does not allow for it, the signage to say Kia North, so we have to say Kia on the left side and then North Danvers. So it's Kia North of Danvers, but it's just the sign placement of how they want it there.
I
So
just find the north kind of useless, I mean, quite frankly. You're in Danvers, and you, obviously, it's a destination, right? It's Kia. I just don't,
It's also in branding with Honda North, which is about a mile up the road. So it's part of that ICL family of dealerships. So
Okay.
we have
are
Honda
you,
North,
you
Kia
linked
North,
to Honda North as a company?
all the same company, yes, same
Gotcha.
ownership. And we have one North pre-owned up the highway, so
I see.
it's
All
relatable
right.
to the,
That makes a little more sense.
yes.
I don't understand the sign. I don't think the sign helps you, but if it's for branding, I get it.
Well, you didn't, yeah. I
Attorney
understand.
McCann, you mentioned the trees on Route 1. Who
Yes.
owns them?
They are in the state layout, so one might
So
think
they're
they're
never,
owned by the state.
they're never addressed as far as trimming or anything?
No, they're not.
Yeah, okay, so that's state highway?
Yes.
Land,
Yes.
okay. I think that's all I had. I'll go out to the public, and hearing nothing from the public, we'll come back and we will deliberate. Jeff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think the package is modest, and I think the pylon sign's a great improvement, so I will vote for this.
Thank you, Jeff. And I'm sorry, before we continue, Brian, I just want to be sure, there's nobody online for questions from the public? I've done that before, so,
No one has their hand up.
okay, very good. Kareem?
I agree with Jeff. I really like the sign package. I like the fact that the pylon sign is being moved back. I prefer them to be as far back as possible, and I think the signage package is very nice, so I will vote for this.
Thanks, Kareem. Ken Jovanin?
I think it's appropriate. I'll vote for it as well.
Thank you, Ken. And Ken Scholes?
Yeah, I think this is very modest. I think it's modern, which I really like, and it's subtle, so I will vote for this.
Yeah, I mean, my objection was just the North Danvers. I kind of get it, but does seem like the sign package fits with the niceties and the newness of the facility, so I too will vote for it. So if we could get a motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, I move to issue a variance under Section 37D of the Danvers Zoning Bylaw in order to replace and add wall and pylon signage, and that a literal enforcement of the zoning bylaw would involve substantial hardship to the applicant. Granting this variance will not create a substantial detriment to the public good and will not nullify or derogate from the intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw.
I will second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you very much.
Very good, passes. All right, Kareen, on to the next.
The next on the agenda is 382 Newbury Street. Request a variance under Section 37D of the Danvers Zoning Bylaw in order to replace signage like for the new Honda North dealership. This includes the replacing of a pylon sign and 4 other signs on site. Previous Honda North signage was approved through a variance from 2004. Request made by Richard Harvey of Harvey Signs. Docket number 24-5072.
And who is here? Is it only the sign rep?
The applicant is online,
Okay.
Mr. Mike Harvey.
Well, if you could identify
Good evening, Mr.
yourself.
Chairman, and thank you, Board, for hearing us tonight. Can everyone hear me?
I can. If you could just go ahead and identify yourself?
Brilliant. This is Mike Harvey with Harvey Sign Company. Richard Harvey is the applicant of note. He's one of the owners of the company here. And tonight, basically, the overview of the package is this is an update of the existing signage at the facility, which has been up for just about 20 years at this point and badly needs replacing. The like for like is, it's just an updated branding of the Honda logo and the Honda colors. And what's existing right now is their dated logo and their dated branding. An example of that would be if you wouldn't mind going down to the pylon sign. The pylon sign, thank you very much. The pylon sign is the exact same size. It's from the existing catalog for what Honda allows their dealerships to install at their locations. And to answer your question, the whole sign will not be glowing. It's a push-through lettering, so the white is opaque. It's an ACM or aluminum composite material. And the blue itself is pushed through with perf vinyl that gives it that glow. So that'll be the only thing that's illuminated at night. Again, it's going to be on the existing footing. We're taking down the sign and the pylons and replacing it with a matching footing for the existing bolts that are there. And then everything else on the walls, the service sign, the Honda identification sign, and the dealership name of North, which we just covered, is like for replacement.
Okay, anything else you want to present to us?
No, thank you. I can answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. If you could just stay on the line there. So I'll start down there with you, Ken.
Thank you. So basically, everything stays the same, but you're just going from blue to white, basically.
Yes. With basically it's identical to what's up there. It's just the updated font and colors for Honda.
Okay, no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ken, Javin.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thanks. Corinne?
My question is to Mr. Zakelli.
Yeah,
through
sure,
the
go ahead.
chair.
Yep.
If they actually remove the pylon sign and put another one in the exact same spot, do we need to grant another variance for that?
No, if it's part of the replacement,
Okay.
it's more if they removed it and then it was left removed, like they didn't keep the building permit active, then we could say that this is bad faith. If the building permit would be inactive, but that would be the only way, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but since they're taking one down and putting another one right up, it's kind of part of the replacement.
Yeah, and it won't be overnight because it's probably all part of the whole construction, so,
Okay.
but basically, as long as the building permit is active, which I'm sure they're gonna keep active, I mean, it's not that hard to keep a building permit active, they would be allowed to do that.
Okay. And just one other question to Mr. Harvey. You mentioned something about the sign being illuminated now. Was the old sign illuminated?
Yes.
Okay, so I assume that whatever schedule you were on as far as turning on and turning off, you'll be on, or was it 24/7?
No, I believe it was on the approved schedule through the Town of Danvers. I believe that was on the variance that was previously entered into the docket.
Okay,
I think it's typically an hour after closing, right?
Okay.
We can reference the previous decision
Yeah.
if you
Okay.
want, which is super easy to
Oh,
do that, so.
okay. Well, I definitely think we should do that. That's it. That's all I have.
Thank you, Corinne. Jeff?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have no questions.
Okay. Mr. Harvey, you mentioned font changes on the signs. Does this increase the square footage as we define it?
Take a look at what we have here. I don't have that in my notes. I apologize for that. The square footage as of what we're installing is listed out in the drawing documents. I don't have measurements of the existing signage though, but from what I've seen in the images, when I'm saying like for like, it looks to be of similar size.
Well, I'm a
An example of that would be the pylon, for
I'm a
example.
little reluctant to approve something that we don't have dimensions on, but you're saying like for like, but then you mention a font change, and that to me says, well, the letter sizes are gonna change, so I guess that's a little unclear to me.
Even if the lettering size changed, it's the size of the entire box, so it actually
The
doesn't,
boxes
it
aren't
actually doesn't
changing.
matter. The font could actually be any size, that's not really what defines the sign.
Right, okay, so but that's what I asked, so through the way we define the size, the sign sizes are identical.
Well, I mean, right now, they've only asked for like, and that's all you can, that's what they're asking for, so if you feel comfortable giving that, you can, it's in the vote.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Anybody else, additional questions? Hearing none, I'll go to the public. Anyone online wish to be heard on, this is 382 Newberry Street, Honda North. Which now I understand is linked to Kia North Danvers. We're not going for Honda North Danvers. No. I'm just teasing here. Okay, with that said, let's come back, we'll deliberate. We'll start down there with you, Ken.
I will vote for this.
Thank you. Ken Javinen.
I also will vote for this.
Thank you. Corinne.
I will vote for this.
And Jeff.
Yes, I will vote for this.
And I too, I don't see an issue with this, as long as we're doing the same. I'm guessing 5 years from now, you'll be back to make them blue again. So.
We're in trailers right now.
Yeah. Okay, if I could get a motion on 382 Newberry Street.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to issue a variance under section 37.d of the Danvers zoning bylaw in order to replace existing signage with the same size, lettering, and number of signs, and that a literal enforcement of the zoning bylaw would involve substantial hardship to the applicant. Granting this variance will not create a substantial detriment to the public good and will not nullify or derogate from the intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw.
Okay, and I think we wanted to reference as detailed in the prior
The
variance.
time schedule.
Correct? Is that what you were looking for, Corinne?
Yes.
Yes.
And I think you were looking for the same, like, sign.
Like for like, well, that's,
Yeah, it
that was
says that.
mentioned in what Ken.
That's in the application, yeah.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, we can take a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Very good. Motion passes. And
I don't
you
know
didn't
that he
give me
got a
my,
Did he get a
Yeah,
second?
I
to
forgot
that?
to this time.
my
but I-
cheat sheet.
Yeah, but
My,
this was an easy one, I guess.
all right.
Did you get a second on that?
I'm sorry, could I get a second?
You didn't.
I
I'll
don't
second
know that
it.
you did.
Who made the motion?
So there was an
I-
well, there was an
I read
amended
it.
motion. There was
was
an amended motion, yeah.
Okay, okay.
You
So
made
it's
the
a
motion.
Was amended, seconded by
Seconded by
Jeff
me just
Sauer.
Okay.
now.
All in
Just
favor?
wanted to make sure.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay,
Very good,
So we
passes.
have it in the minutes.
thank you.
Good catch.
And,
Good luck with your sign.
yeah,
Oh, the dealership is,
Mr. Zakelli,
And
do you
there
have
are a lot.
any business for us besides, I guess we have a Thursday meeting, it's a, how are we calling it, a land
It's a
summit?
land use summit, so it
Yep.
is, we're gonna be, it is the planning, the people that were invited were the planning board, the zoning board, conservation commission, select board, and I believe FinCom is aware, but I don't, to potentially participate, but it's really for, our division to let, all of the boards and commissions know kind of what we're planning on over the next 12 to 18 months, and for us to get some initial feedback from you.
And
about
that meeting's here, 6 o'clock,
on this Thursday,
this Thursday in this room,
in
6
this
p.m.
room.
Very good. With that said, if I could get a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
And second,
Second.
all in favor?
Uh-huh.
Very good.
Good night, Danvers.
Thanks.
Good night.
And Brian, when is the
Take care.
second meeting?